Our next unit of study is ancient Africa. Before we start talking about ancient Africa and the history of it, let's talk about the geography. The geography of Africa affected its early people. Africa is the second largest continent on Earth, and it has 4 distinct geographic zones and climates. So here are those 4. The first one, rainforests. Rainforests have a warm climate. Farmers there can grow crops, and they also collect some food from the rainforest. The second one is the savannas, or grasslands that cover almost 40% of Africa. The savanna climate is hot and has uneven rains. People grow grains and raise animals in the savannas. The third is deserts. Now, deserts also cover 40% of Africa. The world's famous or largest desert is the Sahara that's located in Africa. Climate in deserts are very dry and hot, and deserts actually limited travel and trade in Africa for many years. The last one is the mild climate areas. These are on the northern coast or the southern tip of Africa. It has a warm climate with plenty of rain and very fertile soil. Trading empires in Africa. The Sahara separated North Africa from the rest of Africa for thousands of years. In 400 BC, the Berber people found ways to actually cross the desert. They reached West Africa and trade began. Berbers first used horses and donkeys to cross the Sahara Desert, but these animals often died because of the heat. In 200 AD, the Romans actually introduced the camel to North Africa, and camels can actually travel without water for days, so this was perfect. The use of camels increased trade between North Africa and West Africa. Berbers formed what are called caravans. Caravans are made up of many camels, and people. The caravans carried trade goods such as ivory, spices, and leather across the desert or across the Sahara. The first group of kingdoms we're going to talk about in Africa are the West African kingdoms. Caravans traveled from North Africa to West Africa. One of the important goods that they carried was salt. This salt came from the mines located in the Sahara. Traders also brought the religion of Islam to West Africa in about year 700. Many merchants in West Africa became Muslims or followers of Islam. Our first West African kingdom we're going to talk about is Ghana. Ghana was the first great trading empire in West Africa. It grew powerful during the 400s because of this trade. Ghana was located between the salt mines of the Sahara and the gold mines of West Africa. Ghana's kings became wealthy by taxing these traders who passed through their empire. Ghana managed the gold trade despite having very few resources of its own. Since the gold and salt mines lay beyond the borders of the empire, the power of Ghana actually came or was based on the skill of their people working with iron. The power of Ghana slowly declined in the 1100s though, because one of the groups, or one of their groups of people, separated from the empire and formed what was called the Mali Empire. And in the 1200s, Mali conquered what was left of the Ghana Empire. So Mali. Sandiata Keita was the first strong king of Mali. Griots, or traditional African storytellers, told of how Sandiata ruled well and made Mali great. Sandiata united the people of Mali under what was called under a strong government. He also conquered new lands and put Mali in charge of the gold mines in West Africa. The Mali Empire built its wealth on what was called the gold salt trade, which we'll talk about in a couple boards. Mali's most famous leader, though, was Mansa Musa. He was very rich and a devout Muslim. You need to remember that. Mansa Musa is Mali's most famous leader. A way to remember that is Mansa Musa Mali, M-M-M. Okay? In 1325, Mansa Musa made a pilgrimage to Mecca. On this journey, he spread his wealth across the continent of Africa. He also made Timbuktu a very rich trading city and a center for Islamic learning. So Timbuktu was a great city that was started along the Niger River. It was located at the end of a camel caravan route that connected sub-Saharan Africa, North Africa, and Arabia. The most important good that was traded in Timbuktu was salt. Timbuktu was located near several salt mines in the Sahara Desert. Caravans hauled salt from the mines to trade for gold. This resulted in what was called the gold salt trade. Okay? Gold and salt were equal in value. So if you had a pound of gold, it was equal to a pound of salt on the gold salt trade. In 1337, the Empire of Mali began to weaken. The Empire of Songhai eventually gained control of the gold salt trade, and by 1492, the Songhai had become the largest empire in West Africa. Their empire lasted for 100 years. So now let's talk about some East African kingdoms. The East African kingdom of Axium became important because became an important stop on the trade routes that connected Africa, the Mediterranean world, and India. And in 334 AD, King Azandia made Christianity the official religion of Axium. However, later the religion of Islam was introduced to this area of the world, and both religions had a major impact on Axium. Arab traders had sailed to East Africa for many years. They traveled in sailboats known as dhows, and these ships used special triangle-shaped sails to catch the wind. In the 700s, many Arab traders settled along the Indian Ocean and in East Africa, and the Indian Ocean trade also reached inland, so it actually went into Africa. During this time, the 900s, Zimbabwe became one of the most important inland trading states.